You're listening to Mindful Manifesting. This is Ariana Rollins. So glad you're here. This is the podcast for people who want to be goal achievers, but not through forcing and pressure. They want to use manifesting techniques. Well, I'm really happy you're in the right place. So, how do you shift the funk? There's no reason, but you're just not feeling it. You're not in a good mood, and you don't have energy to do what you know you must do today. That's exactly what we're talking about today on the podcast. All right. So you're feeling heavy for no apparent reason, or there could be a reason, right? Maybe there's been a loss and you're grieving, or you've been really muscling it and really hustling in your business and you're not growing your income. The clients aren't saying yes, and you're starting to maybe resent how hard you're working, and that's kind of turning up in your attitude. Or maybe you're just feeling heavy for no apparent reason and you can't afford another unproductive day. So let's talk about shifting the funk. Isn't that a great word? Okay, so I'm going to go through 4 tips. And the first one, you might say, nah, that's not going to work. But hear me out, okay? I'll tell a little backstory before I share this first tip. So it was way back, 20 years ago or so. My son was 4 years old, and we were in the kitchen. He was hungry, so I gave him a yummy roasted macadamia nut. Well, he said, "Mama, I don't feel so well." His face puffed up, his throat closed, and he went into anaphylactic shock. Fortunately, the ambulance got there, we got him in the hospital, and he recovered. Well, I am determined that when something happens like that, to find a natural solution. I've been like that for as long as I can remember. So we did everything that I could think of. We did chiropractic. We did acupuncture, and he wouldn't do it unless he said, "Mama, you try it." I said, "Oh, great." So he put the needles in me, and that wasn't a winning idea. My son never got into that one. Let's see, we controlled the diet. We took out all refined sugars. That was actually very helpful. And then one day, we're starting to see a little bit of progress. He wasn't in the hospital, every 2 weeks. But let me give you a kind of sense of how bad the allergies were. Let me frame it for you. He couldn't eat chicken. He couldn't eat eggs. He couldn't eat dairy. He couldn't eat wheat. Basics, right? It's pretty hard. So one day, my son and I were out garage sailing. This is when we lived in Carlsbad, California. And in California, a lot of people do garage sales on Saturday or Sunday. And it's fun. You get to meet neighbors and find deals. So we're at this one garage sale, and I walk up the driveway, and there's this young woman selling soaps made with essential oils. And I remember myself, like I tilted my head like a dog would, like curious, paying attention. I said, "Is there anything to essential oils?" I said, "Yeah, let me get my mom." So the mom brings out this enormous book, the Essential Oil Desk Reference. It's like a Bible. And we talked. That, my friends, was the path to my son's healing. Sounds odd, but essential oils are plant-based, so you can't ever get too much, not like a supplement. Your body just processes it out. Okay, this is not an episode on essential oils, but I wanted to give you this story before we get into my first shift the funk. Okay, so there's 4. 1, put your favorite essential oil on your wrists. Breathe in deeply. 2, tidy a desk drawer or cabinet. Pick only one area and allow yourself 10 minutes. We're going to go into detail on each one of these. 3, read something uplifting. If you're someone who likes to read something spiritual, writing, or something that just makes you feel good. Okay. 4, 10 minutes of movement. Walk, dance, and most importantly, breathe. Okay, let's go into number 1. Put your favorite essential oil on your wrists and breathe deeply. Why would I suggest that? Well, essential oils are really unique in that the fragrance, sense of smell, goes direct to our amygdala. Our amygdala is the seat of our emotions. We have stored memories in that area of our brain. And things that talk therapy or any kind of mental process can't touch, fragrance, smell can touch it. Remember the first time you went to the movies and you maybe had popcorn. Remember the smell of popcorn now. Or the first time you had chocolate chip cookies and how good they were. And the smell of chocolate chip cookies or popcorn can trigger those good feelings. Same thing with negative feelings or negative experiences. The smells can trigger us. So when we're using, for example, joy is one of my favorite essential oils because it's a blend, and I'll put a link in the show notes. It actually has rose. Rose has the highest frequency. It's over 320 hertz. Normal healthy human is about 62 hertz. So when you take a drop of joy, which has rose in it, think even a little bit of jasmine, which is a great stress reducer, you put it on your heart, and then you breathe it in on your wrists, it shifts your state so quickly. And I know Tony Robbins has dedicated a lot of his career on helping people shift their state. This is fast. This can happen in a minute or less. So there's a couple other favorites that I like. Release is another one. Release is one that can help us release negativity, grief, anger. You can put the release over your liver on the outside to help release things. Put it on your feet before sleep and then on your wrists. Smell it during the day. It's wonderful. I think it's something you have to experience to really believe me, because I thought essential oils were just like for perfume. And I was profoundly surprised when they virtually healed my son of almost all the allergies. He was able to eat peanuts without throwing up. Some of the other nuts he doesn't touch at all. But the other things, he eats pizza, chicken, eggs, dairy. And that was fantastic. Okay, so that's Shift the Funk number 1. Put your favorite essential oil on your wrists and breathe deeply. Okay, second, tidy a desk drawer or a cabinet or your desktop. Pick only one area and set a timer for only 10 minutes. Why do I suggest this? Something happens when we get out of our head and we get into what I call our moving center. Those things that we know how to do. We're comfortable, it's easy, we've done it before, it's familiar. It gets us out of that worry mode and that fretting mode and I don't know if I can do it and I'm not sure what the next step is. You know how to clean a desk drawer, you know how to clean the desktop. The other thing is that it gives you a blank slate. It clears your mind. And there is a powerful supportive energy when we have our room and our home tidy, especially our workspace, because our mind can be clear. Like if you have a ton of files on your desktop, when you open your computer up and turn it on in the morning, you're faced with all those to-dos. Your desktop is not clear. So we could say in this one, could be your virtual desktop, digital one, or your actual physical desktop. So when we have a clear, calm background, we can think more clearly. And a lot of times that funk will just shift because we have changed our state by being proactive and doing something positive that we know will be successful, that we know will contribute. Another one, which is a little different than tidying your desk drawer or your desktop, is vacuuming your home. I use what's called a rainbow, and I really like it because all of the fur and everything, all the dust goes into water, and in the water container of a rainbow vacuum so that it doesn't just push the dust around. Really good for people with allergies. What I notice, if I just take, this is a little longer than 10 minutes, but I take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I rainbow my floors, I don't know why, but the dust off the floors and the dog fur off the carpets just brightens me. And energetically, I feel uplifted. So one of those things is just tidy, clean something up. Make your space feel good, feel bright, and it will nourish you. It will give you energy back. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, read something uplifting. There are so many good books out there, or if you listen to a podcast that you find uplifting. Or if you're someone who reads the Bible or Bhagavad Gita, or one of my favorites, which I don't know why, but it's super uplifting, is I studied Gurdjieff for, long time now, almost 40 years. And his most esteemed student was Ouspensky. And Ouspensky wrote an incredible book called In Search of the Miraculous. So good. Every time I pick that book up, I just read 1 or 2 pages and I'm just like, oh, my heart is open. I'm excited. And it's like I shift my field. I shift my energy. It's like, that's gone. I've closed the chapter to what I was doing, and I'm now in possibilities. So it could be reading something uplifting that you usually read in the morning if you've got a miracle morning routine, or just go by your bookshelf and allow yourself to intuitively scan through and pull something off the shelf and open it to a page. And that will be the page, my friends, that you need to read, you need to hear. And trust that. Okay, that's number 3. Last one, number 4, 10 minutes of movement. Walk, dance, or breathe. I've become an avid fan of pranic breath yoga. It's not so much yoga, really. It is taking our breath and moving energy that's stuck, and all sorts of wonderful benefits like immune system support, mental clarity, and you move through emotions. It's really fabulous. But you could take the dog out for a short walk. Or what I do is I've got a little grassy knoll and it's huge where I take the dog and I throw a ball. And I don't know why, but when he goes crazy after that ball, it just makes me smile ear to ear. I love it. Brightens my day. And when I walk back into my home, it's like, wow, I had a little mini vacation. So for you, take a little walk, movement, a little yoga, dance. Dance is great. Sing if you like to sing, or do some deep breathing. Anything that's going to shift your energy field in your body. It's going to help brighten you and shed the funk, because we may not know what caused us to be in a funky mood. It could be something we saw on social media that we scrolled past quickly, and we have no idea that energetically we're still processing that image, that post. It could be thinking about a conversation you had with a loved one that didn't go well. We may not know what the funk is, but we want to shift it. We want to be back in command and control of our emotions, and our emotions are a strong indicator on how the kind of actions we will take. And also, if you're an entrepreneur, if you create something, maybe you're writing an email or a social media post, or you're creating a new program offering, if you're doing that from a funky state, guess what, my friends? That funky state is going to be in there. And I think people are becoming more and more sensitive. They may not know why they're turned off it, and you're not getting a lot of traction with it, but people do feel it. So we'll recap. Shift the funk. I know it's a little bit of a different episode, but we really need these tips, and if it can get you to shift the funk instead of having it turn into a whole afternoon or a few days or a week, it's well worth it, right? And I invite you, if it feels right, to write them down. Put a little sticky note on your computer. Oh, first thing I forgot to tell you is get yourself away from the computer. So if you're feeling that funkiness and you're working, push your desk away, stand up and walk away, even if you're in the middle of trying to solve a tech issue. Okay, so 4, 4 things. 1, put your favorite essential oil on your wrists or over your heart and breathe in. 2, tidy a desk drawer or cabinet or vacuum your carpets. Allow yourself a limited time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then get back to the task. 3, read something uplifting or listen to a podcast that's uplifting. 4, 10 minutes of movement. Walk, dance, yoga, breathe. Maybe play with your dog and throw the ball. All right, I hope you found this episode useful, practical, and you're going to be able to apply it to shift the funk, because the shorter we stay in that funky state, the more effective we are, the more successful we are, and the sooner we can get back to manifesting what we want. And as we wrap this episode up, know this, that your emotional state, if you're in a funky mood, you are in a not an ideal place to be creating and manifesting. You want to be in a positive, uplifted state before you launch your next creation, your next manifesting idea. Okay, thanks so much for listening. And if you would like to combine the best of SMART goals and what works with manifesting, go get your Kickstart Your Manifesting Journey free gift on highertrueself.com. So much love to you. And remember, as we wrap up, when you confirm yourself, you chart your own course to success. So much love. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.